Hi there, and welcome to episode 7 of Do One Thing Social, where every week we tackle one branding or marketing strategy to get you closer to your social media goals. I am Lisa McKenzie, and I am the founder of McKenzie Moxie Media and Blissonomics. And this week we are going to continue with our work on our 4-point brand blueprint. So let's get to the slide deck and let's talk more about your visuals. So this week, let me just move this up here a little bit, make sure that works. Okay, so this week we are talking about your visuals. In the previous weeks, in episode 4, we talked about your voice. In episode 5, your offer and your promise to the marketplace. And episode 6 was your differentiator. And today is episode 7, where we are talking about your visuals. Now, your visuals are the essence of your brand. It's the story that you are telling about your brand through the visuals, and that can be used across social media. It can be used on your website. It can be used in your marketing materials. It really tells the story of your brand, and there has to be some continuum there that helps tell the story of your brand. If we look at some of the examples here, we have Cirque du Soleil, which had a show not too long ago called Volta, Find Your Free. And you can tell by their images, first of all, there's some consistency in the images that they use from show to show, but you can tell that this particular brand and their tagline of Find Your Free really is expressed through these visuals. Now, your visuals also have to have that sense of, by telling your story consistently, has that sense of, oh, I think I've heard of them. I think I've seen that brand before. You know how we say in marketing that it takes 7 to 8 times to really concretely understand and believe that we have some knowledge and maybe some relationship with our brand. And we do that through seeing it over and over and over again. And maybe we're seeing one image for one show from Cirque du Soleil and then another image, but there's that sense of connection. That's what you want to create when you're telling your story, that sense of connection. And you can do that by the fonts that you use. You can do that by the colors that you use, the style that you use. We'll talk more about that in a second, but Starbucks, I mean, when you see that brand, you immediately recognize it. Lululemon, you immediately recognize. I'm hoping at some point you'll immediately recognize everything that Blissonomics puts out without seeing the name Blissonomics, right? That's it. It has to be the colors and the images that we use that tell that consistent story. And Adele, she's been amazing of creating this brand with just her age. It has her name, and although she's not using the same font, you can expect, and that's another word I want to use, is there's a certain expectation, right? We know that her next album is probably going to feature an image of her face, have her name, and then have her age. I'm still blown away by the fact that she put out her first album when she was 19, but that's it. So it's her face, some cut of her face. So whether it's a full on, whether it's a side view, her name and her age. So that's what we want to create. And this you are not going to do out of the gate, but keep in mind that if you keep that consistency, if you keep telling that story with the same essence and the same colors with a little variation, but you want to stick to something that is recognizable. Now, what I love to do is when I'm putting a brand together and when I'm helping clients tell that story about their brand is I start a board on Pinterest. It doesn't matter if you use Pinterest for business or not. Use Pinterest to create a brand, and you can create a public brand if you don't mind, or you can create a private one that only you can see. You can also create a collaborative brand if there is more than one person who's making these decisions about the brand or is helping you create the brand. So I like pulling all kinds of inspiration together, images, textures, words that help me understand and help me better communicate my brand. So this is an example of the very early days of Blissonomics and our brand board on Pinterest. And again, it's a private board. Nobody can see it. The tool that I use to create my graphics is Canva. Now, I'm been doing this for a very long time. I have tested many tools, online tools, and offline tools as well, tools that live on my computer. And I can say that without a doubt, Canva is my favorite online tool. And there is a free plan, and there's also Canva for Work that has some extra bells and whistles that can be useful to you. But I was on the free plan for a couple of years before I wanted to move over to the paid brand. And I'll give you an example of some of the things that you can do with the paid brand. Is you can create transparent images. So if you don't want border around your images, if you're creating it on a white screen and you don't want that white all around it, with Canva for Work you can download transparent images, especially if you're creating your logo on Canva, which you can do. The second reason that I love the Canva for Work is that I use it to magically, and I think it's called the magic tool, that's why I call it magically, to create different versions of the same post. So if I'm creating a post for Facebook, I can easily, with the magic tool, take that same post and reformat it into a Pinterest post, into a Twitter post. And when I say a post, I'm talking about the graphic, not the caption, or not the actual posting to the social network, but the graphic that's used. And then it moves all those elements of my image onto a template sized for Pinterest or sized for Twitter. And I say that because it's different than Facebook. And then I just have to move it around, maybe enlarge certain things because it's a rectangle and not a square. And voila, I don't have to recreate the image. So that was really useful. And for $10 a month, I thought it was definitely worth the investment. I mean, it takes me a lot longer, or my team a lot longer, to create these images. So I thought that investment of $10 US a month was definitely worth it. If you prefer using Photoshop or other tools, that's great too. The important thing is that you are creating a brand and that you are creating images for social media. So stick with what you love and what you know. And if you don't have a tool and you want to try out Canva, go ahead. Canva is not sponsoring this video, does not pay me a commission. I just love their tool. Now, these are examples of some of the graphics that we've created for our different programs. And you can see that very distinctively, we use the colors. It's kind of like a reddish, raspberry, orangey, it's hard to describe, to represent bliss. And we use the green to represent the economics, so the monetizing of your brand. And you can tell that in our different programs, we consistently have those colors. You see this is a book, this is the Bliss Kit that comes with one of our programs. So we always, and this program goes with this program. So you see we use the background on this. And Do One Thing Social, we again have that raspberry reddish, and the green. Now we use different variations of the green because we want some texture to it, and we don't want to stick to the exact colors, and I think it adds a nice variety to it. But you can see that there's consistency. We always use the same font for the Blissonomics, with the exception of our Mastermind, which isn't here. For My Big Ask, again, we use the same colors, and we introduced in My Big Ask, we introduced gold as a third color. So ideally you should have two main colors, a third and even a fourth color to add that differentiator. Yeah, so if you have any questions about that, please do reach out to me and write your comments. So write your comments in the post or on YouTube, wherever you're seeing this video. So if we do a recap, in the 4-point four-point brand blueprint, we have number 1, which was episode 4. We talked about your voice, critical component. They're all critical, but your voice is, I love working on the voice because it really, it's the true deep understanding and what you want to communicate to the world about your brand. So the voice was episode 4. And if you haven't caught these videos and you want to catch up, then go ahead. They're on the Blissonomics website, and they're also on the Blissonomics group on Facebook. So we have episode 4, which was the voice, and this is all about Blissonomics. I can talk to that brand because I was one of the people who created it. Number 2 was episode 5, and it's all about the offer. Number 3 was episode 6, which was our purpose, happiness, and money. And this is episode 7, all about your visuals. And this is 2 examples of our visuals. So again, if you have any questions pulling this together, please come on to Facebook or reach out to me through the website, Blissonomics.com, or through our YouTube videos, and I'll be happy to help you. This doesn't get created in a day. It doesn't get created in a week, and it doesn't get created sitting at your desk. Pretty much everyone has a mobile phone nowadays. So if you're on the go and you come up with an idea or you see something when you're outside of your office, take a note and give yourself the time to pull all these elements together. Give yourself permission to put something out and then realize, hey, this is exactly what I envisioned when I first thought about my brand. Give yourself permission to change it up a bit. I mean, we think that everybody's watching every one of our steps. No, everybody's watching every one of their steps, and they happen to see ours along their journey. So again, give yourself permission to take the time to grow your brand, to take the time to build your brand, to take the time to create something that is you, that is transparent, that is sustainable, and that is viable for you, and it's something that your audience connects with. Tell your story in the most authentic way. My name is Lisa McKenzie, and that is episode 7 of Do One Thing Social. I hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you.